The Doberman carries a silent instinct that cannot be trained, controlled, or shaped by commands alone. This instinct wakes before danger appears and senses tension long before a human feels anything at all. It's the instinct most owners never recognize until it's already influencing their dog's every decision. And once this instinct switches on, the Doberman becomes a mirror of the energy surrounding it. Long before a Doberman reacts, it evaluates the room with a precision most people would associate with human intuition. It reads breathing patterns, posture shifts, emotional spikes, and the rhythm of movement. To the untrained eye, the dog seems calm. To the Doberman, the entire environment is already mapped and categorized. This instinct doesn't come from training videos or obedience classes. It comes from generations of selective breeding designed to build a protector that thinks before it moves. Every Doberman, whether raised for family life or security work, carries the same ancestral blueprint in its mind. Most owners misunderstand this instinct because they expect obedience to replace awareness. But obedience and instinct don't compete, they negotiate. A Doberman decides when instinct takes priority, and that is the moment owners realize they are living with a dog that can analyze situations faster than they can explain them. There is a moment every owner eventually sees, a moment of stillness that feels almost human. The Doberman freezes, locks its gaze, lowers its breathing, and listens in a way that sends chills down a person's spine. This is not fear, aggression, or uncertainty, it is calculation. In those few seconds, the dog evaluates intent, direction, distance, and energy. It is a form of awareness that cannot be taught because it isn't learned, it is inherited. And this is where most owners go wrong. They try to correct a behavior that is not a behavior at all. The Doberman is not reacting to noise or movement. It is reacting to patterns. A person stepping too close, a sudden silence in the environment, the shift in someone's emotional state. The dog sees it all as one connected signal. No other guardian breed reads humans quite like the Doberman. Its loyalty sharpens its perception, and its perception strengthens its loyalty. This creates a cycle where the dog becomes more attuned to its chosen person than the person is to themselves. A Doberman can sense when someone's confidence cracks even slightly. It feels the dip in energy long before the owner speaks or moves. And in that tiny hesitation, the dog decides whether to lead or follow. This is the hidden danger of the breed's intelligence. When the Doberman decides it needs to stabilize the environment, the owner's commands become secondary, not ignored, only deprioritized. To the Doberman, this isn't disobedience. It's responsibility. A responsibility it believes it must carry because it senses instability, uncertainty, or emotional inconsistency. And this is where owners misinterpret their dog. They see defiance when the dog is actually stepping into a role it believes is necessary for protection. They see stubbornness when the Doberman is using its instinct to solve a problem before it escalates. A well-trained Doberman doesn't suppress this instinct, it channels it. Training simply teaches the dog when to apply its awareness and when to hold back. But the instinct itself never disappears, even in the calmest, most obedient Dobermans. The greatest Doberman handlers understand one truth. You cannot train away a dog's identity. You can only guide it. And the Doberman's identity has always been built around reading danger, reading emotion, and reading silence. When the house is peaceful, the Doberman settles into a watchful calm. But if the energy shifts even slightly, the dog is already analyzing the cause. Visitors, arguments, sudden noises, unusual footsteps, nothing slips past the breed's awareness. It is not the loud moments that activate the Doberman. It is the subtle ones. The ones humans dismiss as harmless, but the dog reads as important shifts in the environment. Some owners describe moments where their Doberman suddenly stands up and walks to the window without any visible trigger. They assume the dog is restless or bored. But the Doberman has already processed something, a vibration, a pattern, a distant sound, long before the owner even realizes it existed. This should not alarm owners. Instead, it should teach them to pay attention. A Doberman is not unpredictable. It is simply ahead. When a Doberman senses tension between two people, it positions itself instinctively. Not aggressively, not dramatically, just present. It places its body in a space that allows it to intervene if needed, even if nothing actually happens. This instinctual positioning is not dominance, it is foresight. And it is one of the clearest signs that you are living with a breed designed for real protection, not theatrics. Owners often ask why their Doberman seems attached at all times, why it follows them from room to room, watches them silently, or rests near their feet. It is not neediness, it is monitoring. The Doberman watches because it wants to understand the state of its home. Understanding leads to preparation. Preparation leads to control, and control leads to safety, the Doberman's primary mission. This instinct is the reason the breed excels in environments where emotional stability matters. Homes with strong leadership produce Dobermans that remain calm and focused. But homes with tension, inconsistency, or chaos turn the Doberman into a dog that tries to manage situations it isn't equipped to handle alone. This instinct can elevate a Doberman's intelligence or overwhelm it. Everything depends on the guidance the dog receives. Because while you can train obedience, you cannot train instinct. You can only respect it. A Doberman's instinct sharpens most when its environment becomes unpredictable. The dog begins scanning for patterns because uncertainty threatens the safety it works so hard to maintain. Even subtle emotional inconsistencies in the home can activate the dog's ancestral wiring. The Doberman senses the smallest shift long before humans consciously recognize it. When visitors arrive, the Doberman doesn't simply react to their presence. It studies their posture, their voice, their confidence, and their intent with remarkable precision. The breed's mind is always searching for alignment or contradiction in human behavior. This is why some guests make Dobermans uneasy without doing anything visibly wrong. The dog is not judging people, it is interpreting them. And its interpretations often reveal truths humans overlook. A Doberman may position itself between its owner and an unfamiliar person when its instincts detect uncertainty. The owner may feel embarrassed, but the dog is simply doing its job. No amount of obedience training can erase this instinct because it exists at the core of the breed's identity. Training only refines how the instinct expresses itself. A respectful owner learns to guide the dog, not suppress it. A controlling owner creates conflict, and the Doberman reacts to conflict with heightened vigilance. This is why people who try to dominate the breed struggle so much. A Doberman doesn't respect force. It respects consistency. It wants clarity, calmness, and direction, not intimidation. When an owner leads with stability, the Doberman mirrors that stability in every action. But when leadership is inconsistent, the dog fills the void itself. And that is the moment things begin to spiral. A Doberman that feels responsible for the household becomes hyper-aware, hyper-reactive, and hypersensitive. This is when the instinct becomes overwhelming. Owners often misinterpret this as misbehavior, but the Doberman is not misbehaving. It is over-functioning. It is trying to protect a home without guidance, which is far more stressful for the dog than for the humans living with it. The Doberman's instinct is built to support humans, not replace them. When the dog takes the lead, it becomes emotionally taxed. This emotional fatigue appears as restlessness, pacing, overvigilance, or sudden bursts of intensity that owners cannot explain. But the solution is never harsh correction. It is alignment. A Doberman needs to feel that its owner's energy is stronger than the problem at hand. When the owner demonstrates clarity, the dog relaxes instantly. This is why confident owners seem to have perfect Dobermans. Their emotional steadiness gives the dog permission to lower its guard. The Doberman thrives under leadership that is quiet but firm, calm but decisive, loving but structured. To understand the breed fully, one must understand the Doberman's emotional intelligence. It is perhaps the most emotionally perceptive guardian dog ever created. It notices tone more than words, posture more than size, intention more than volume. This is why yelling never works. The dog saw the anger brewing long before the voice rose. The Doberman has an uncanny ability to detect pain in its owners. It will lie near someone who is sad, move closer to someone who is anxious, or become playful with someone who needs distraction. These reactions are not random kindness. They are instinctual caregiving behaviors unique to deeply bonded Dobermans. But emotional intelligence is a double-edged sword. It means the Doberman absorbs the home's energy whether it is good or bad. A peaceful home produces a peaceful Doberman. A chaotic home produces a Doberman that is always scanning for threats. This is the part of the breed most owners never realize until it is too late. The Doberman does not adapt to the household, it mirrors it. And the mirror becomes sharper with every passing year. When a Doberman chooses its person, the bond feels almost spiritual. The dog tracks the person's patterns, moods, routines, and vulnerabilities with unbelievable accuracy. This level of connection is rare even in guardian breeds, and it creates a loyalty so deep that misunderstanding it leads to serious problems later. The dog is not clingy, it is committed. It is not overprotective, it is aligned. To break this alignment through inconsistent training or emotional volatility is to confuse the dog at its core. That confusion becomes the root of behavioral issues. But when the relationship is balanced, the Doberman becomes one of the most reliable and emotionally supportive dogs on Earth. It acts before danger arrives and comforts before sadness is spoken. This instinctual foresight is what made the breed legendary in wartime, policing, security, and family protection long before modern training systems existed. A Doberman that feels secure becomes gentle, patient, playful, and deeply affectionate. People who claim the breed is aggressive have never seen a Doberman that trusts its environment. But a Doberman that feels uncertain becomes intense, reactive, and extremely protective. Not because it wants to be, but because it believes it must be. At the heart of all Doberman behavior is a singular truth. The dog's instinct is not to attack or dominate, but to stabilize. It wants harmony in the home, balance in the environment, and emotional clarity in its humans. This is why the Doberman is not just a guard dog, but an emotional guardian. Its loyalty is not based on commands, it is based on connection. And the owners who honor that connection unlock a level of partnership no other breed can offer. The Doberman's instinct cannot be trained away because it is the essence of who the dog is. It is the silent, invisible force that drives every decision the breed makes. Understanding it doesn't just make someone a better Doberman owner, it makes them worthy of the bond.